Welcome to episode, what are we up to?
34.
34, thank you. Someone's on the ball
lads.
here this afternoon.
All good.
So, Matty, love to hear your thoughts of what you're seeing in the marketplace at the moment. Probably good to hear a little bit on a national level because I know you've got agents all over the country. What are you seeing in different markets? And I'd love to know a little bit about what's working for agents who are succeeding in this marketplace.
Yeah, sure.
I know you mentioned in the previous episode, one of your agents did $1 million for the month, which is like, wow, some agents don't do that in 5 years, right? But what are some of the key things that you're seeing in your key marketplaces and what's making a successful agent today? So 2 questions, yeah?
Yeah, Cloud. So first one, what I think, and there's probably a number of things, right? So the first one is as I've mentioned to you before, is agents not running for cover in terms of their personal, like their image in the marketplace. So people tend to think, the market's come back, I'll cut down promoting myself, I'll cut down social media, I'll cut down marketing costs. So now's the time to actually increase all that.
Right? Yep.
It's now the time to increase your footprint in the
marketplace. Yes,
it's probably the best. So what am I seeing from the top agents? One, they've chosen not to accept what the market's doing. Mm-hmm. And they've just divorced themselves from the marketplace. So they're not married to the outcome of what's happening at a federal election. They're not married to the outcome of what's happening at a state election. They don't care about the banks. They're not. They've got no interest. What they know is that there's a buyer, there's a seller, and they can make a fee by putting the two together.
How good is that?
Right? Now, it doesn't matter what time of the year, what year it is, what century it is, whatever. There's always someone buying and there's always someone selling.
100%.
It just is how much of those people you want to get to work with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. There's always someone that's cashed up.
Yes.
In the worst real estate market ever, there's always someone with cash.
Yes.
And there's always someone that has to sell in the worst real estate market.
Yeah.
You know, there's births, deaths, marriages. There's everything that force these people to do things.
Yes.
There's people moving jobs. There's people moving states. So from a national level right now, what am I seeing? I'm seeing, as you were saying before, the clock's at a different level all across Australia.
Of course, yeah.
At Perth, it's coming back into momentum.
Yes. So recovery state?
Yeah, the Gold Coast, it's swinging in. Rents have gone up in Perth last month.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
In Melbourne, the clearance rate's worse than Sydney at the moment.
Wow.
Right?
Okay, yep.
Sydney's gone down probably quick, but Melbourne's gone down a little bit quicker.
Right.
But then reality is Sydney will come back and then Melbourne will come back. And Queensland in general has pretty much been stable, but we don't have probably as much auction clearance rates have always sort of been sort of standard around Brisbane and Gold Coast. Haven't really varied too much.
Yep.
Yet saying that, Gold Coast office of ours had its best month ever since we've been open in January.
Yeah.
So why is
That's
that?
amazing.
I think at the end of the day, the agents have chosen not to be married to the outcome, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of agents. You can sit 5 agents in a room, Clouds, and you can ask them, tell me what you're doing, tell me what's happening at the moment, and you can just hear their dialogue will create their destiny. Some will sit down and they'll say, I think with the election coming up and, we've got the banks with a credit squeeze, we've got this, got that. Again. Others will say, I've got 20 people through my opens, I'm just focused on who's a buyer, who's a seller. And they won't even mention what's happening in the economy.
Yeah.
Right? They'll all have something different. And the ones that are married to the outcome will never get ahead. Right? So the top agents in our group are the ones that just know they've got stock.
Yes.
They've got buyers and they're just going to work with who wants to sell and who wants to buy and forget about everything else. Because I'll guarantee you one thing, we're never going to control what's happening in the macro level of the world.
Yeah.
We're not going to control who calls an election.
No.
We can't control what the banks do. We can't control what the Reserve Bank does.
Yes.
We can't control whether someone, goes on a rampage and unfortunately shoots somebody in New Zealand.
It's true.
We can't control that. What we can control is someone wants to sell, someone wants to buy.
Yeah.
And we can facilitate that.
Absolutely.
So if you just take all the fluff away and work out, and my top agents, they just choose to know that someone wants to sell, someone wants to buy, and they don't let any other influences. So if I go to them and they say, if I go to them and I say, there's an election on Saturday, half of them will go, okay, yes, so I'm running through that.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, Easter's coming next month.
Yeah.
So you can, if you're one of these agents that decide to choose everything for an excuse, I can find an excuse every month. Let me show you.
Yeah.
January, everyone's away on holidays. February, nobody's back yet. Schools, we won't do anything in school. March, we got Easter early. See where I'm going here?
Yeah.
June's coming. No one wants to sell at the end of the financial year. We've got winter coming. They'll sell in spring. Maybe they should just
go on holidays now. Come back in September.
Winter in June, everyone's in Greece, right? In July, it's the end of the fin year. No one wants to do anything, right? See where I'm going here?
Yeah, 100%.
In August, it's too cold. People don't like to sell. The gardens are not good.
Yeah.
And in September, there's too much on the market. I'd wait till October.
Yeah.
October, there's a long weekend and school holidays.
Yes.
November, no one wants to sell. And December, it's Christmas.
Yes.
So your point is now's the right time to sell.
No, so the reality is, I said, if you want to give people an excuse, they'll find an excuse for everything. Real estate agents love finding an excuse, right? I'll say to them, I don't care whether it's winter, summer, Christmas, Easter, public holidays, there's an election, there's Easter, whatever it is. At that point in time right then, you can look in the paper today, you can look online, someone's just bought and sold a house this afternoon.
Yeah.
And if you're not the person doing it, you're too busy worrying about what they're
Absolutely.
So, on that,
does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a really good metaphor and idea that, like, when it rains, right, you could have a pool of water in one section, but ultimately the water has to go somewhere.
Yeah,
and it's the same with money.
Yeah,
if it's not going to you, it's going somewhere.
Yep. So it's what if you choose to not accept what the market's doing, you'll be very successful in this business. Because I'm going to say this to you: in 4 years' time, if we came back right now and did this, it'll be the same thing. What'll happen, we'll be hearing the interest rates have come down or whatever it may be. The banks are loosened their credit. The market's flying. Now we'll have agents saying they can't get any stock and it's booming because everyone doesn't need agents at the moment because they can sell it themselves. There's that much interest in the market. We'll have that problem like we had 2 years ago. So there's always something that's going to stop something or create something or whatever. So you've got to choose to be successful in this business. You've got to divorce yourself from everything that's happening outside the business. And just, if you want to be the best version of yourself, is literally not be interested in what's happening in the rest of the market.
So that's step one, right? Yep. So you've got your mindset right. What happens next?
Well, step one's got your mindset right. That then people buy into your mindset, Clint. So when you go and talk to them, they're going to choose you based on how you talk to them. So if you go in, you say, oh, look, the election's happening, we've got this, we've got bank tightening rates. Or if you go in, you say, I just sold 5 properties last month, I'd love to sell yours and I can get this done, versus that's the way you carry yourself is the most important thing. So you walk in with confidence, not a black cloud over your head, talking about your results and what's happening versus talking about the macro market.
Yeah.
Like that macro economy, we're never going to control it. But agents choose to use that for an excuse, right? While they're using that, someone else is out there selling real estate. So your way you carry yourself. The third thing is the process, and Claudio speaks about this a lot. On the process side of it, so what does that look like? On the process side, that means what are you doing now? You have to do something different today than you were doing 6 months ago.
Absolutely. And you've got to adapt to new conditions.
And whatever this process is now that you're going to do, that should be a process for life.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be doing anything different 6 months ago than you were now. I think you should be doing what you were 6 months ago all the time.
Yes, correct.
Whatever it was. You shouldn't be going, it's a boom, I'll slacken off, I won't do...
I'll do a set to sell meeting for a change.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be just doing, even in a boom, you should be doing a set to sell meeting every week.
So can I just say something, Matty? One of the things that I reckon is at the moment, you're the narrative of your own story.
Correct.
Right? And like you said, what you were saying, there's 3 things people buy from you, right? They buy value, belief. So you've got to basically sell yourself first, right? To yourself. And you've got to buy yourself first. That you believe that you're the best in this market. You can get top dollar for those people, because if you buy yourself first, they'll buy you. Value, belief. Number 2, value contribution. They're going to be looking in this market for people like going, what contribution can you give me in terms of value? Maybe less days on market. That's what you're good at. Your clearance rate, Claudio, is maybe 80%. You get properties sold for maybe 10% higher than the guide that you normally have. So that's value contribution. And then the third one is value perception, what you talked about, which is your footprint in the marketplace.
Yes, yeah.
So if you're not turning up that volume in the marketing sense, that's what you got to do. So I want to ask Clinton now.
Yeah.
Clinton, what is it in terms of value perception that guys can increase their footprint in the marketplace today?
So step number one is you absolutely have to be amplifying what are the good things about your business.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked a lot before.
So
about
your points of difference, would you say?
Yeah, points are different. Yeah. So like if at the moment you're the best at holding a really good relationship with a client and you're one of only a few agents that's actually selling property in your market right now, if you're not amplifying that, nobody knows.
Okay.
So step number one is you've got to start to amplify the good things that you do, the things that are positive, the things that the market respond well to, and you have to make sure that you're putting them in a place where people can actually see them. So the thing is right now, I could go out and put a full page advertisement in the newspaper and that could work, but it's going to cost me a fortune. At the same time, I could go and make a short video, which is similar to a DL card in terms of the information, but I also inject a bit of my brand and personality into it.
Yeah.
And I could post that on Instagram TV.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a cool new
Love
feature.
it.
Yeah, I know you're into Instagram TV.
love it.
I know you love that
Have
stuff.
you seen Instagram TV?
No, I
It is
haven't.
the best, man.
Is it? And
there's
what
a
does
great-
that cost versus?
So, I don't know, whatever the cost of doing it.
Yeah.
If you do it yourself, it's free.
Yep.
If you get somebody else to do it because you want it to look nicer, then it'll
Yep.
cost you a little bit of
And
money.
then you've got it for life, though. It's not just a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
exactly
Instagram
right.
TV is the newest
Yeah.
thing, Matty.
Okay.
And so, normally if you do like a 4-minute video,
Yeah.
it will go to 1 minute on your mainstream on
Okay.
Instagram, and then it'll say to watch the full episode, click that button.
Ah, right.
And then it takes them
TV.
to your IGTV, and then you're
That's awesome.
basically.
Yep.
But it's amazing. I've actually got heaps more views
Yeah.
on the Instagram TV versus normal 60-second thing.
So what's fascinating about this is people that don't jump on it, right? So say, for example, you want to get attention right now and you want to get it underpriced. If you're not, first of all, like you 1 year ago, you could have been on Instagram and you could just post like normal and it's all good. And you could have put a couple of $100 into a post and you would have reached a lot of people.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember even just 6 months ago, $300 would get me 20, 30,000 people.
Wow.
Now to get the same amount of people, I've got to spend $3,000.
Yeah.
So
Okay, wow.
attention, they know because it's the number one social app now that they can start to bring the price up. And that's always going to happen because of supply and demand. And the same thing happened with Facebook.
Yeah,
And
sure. Happens with everything.
you don't get it for free. Nothing's for free. But what you can do is you can look at a platform, you can look at the way that things are being packaged, and you can look at how they're pushing certain things that are underpriced.
Yep.
And Instagram TV right now is one of those things that you should be exploring.
Yeah.
So don't get rid of LinkedIn, which is an important part of the
Oh,
strategy.
all of them.
Don't get rid of trying out YouTube. Don't get rid
Facebook.
of Facebook.
Yep.
Which is a great place to go back to. Don't stop doing Instagram. You need to taste these different things.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Because you know what, Maddie and Clinton, one thing I've started to notice just with all this social media and putting your footprint out there, people get attracted by the character. You.
Yeah.
Right? Like you as a person,
Yep.
you're a character out there and people get attracted by that.
Yep.
So, I always say to certain agents, I'll say, if you got called into something, ask the question, or 2 questions I ask them, especially in my business, why me and why now? So people say, I say, why me? And they say, I see you on Facebook, Cloudy. I've seen you on LinkedIn. I've seen you on Instagram. I like your training content, or I like your whatever.
Yeah.
So people are attracted by the
Why
person.
me? Why now?
Because
That's great.
Let's be honest. There's 1,000 coaches out there. There's 1,000 agents. But there's certain people that like a particular flavour. Would you agree?
Yeah,
So
totally.
people get attracted. So the more you can push yourself out there, the more people are going to be attracted by the character,
Yep.
the person,
Yep.
right? And then you might say to them, why now? Well, we need to sell now because I'm getting divorced. Not that we are, my beautiful honey Lucy,
Yeah.
married 18, 20 years. But you know what I'm saying?
Clouds, I totally agree. The other thing that's just jumped into my mind while we're sitting here is I notice a lot of agents can't articulate, like you said, why me, why now? That's a great question.
Yep.
A lot of agents don't have a simple answer for how's the market.
Yeah.
So they don't actually have an answer for that.
What would they do? What would they?
They're in the market,
Yeah.
but they don't have a simple answer for how's the market.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And they waffle.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
what's the
how-
market juice? And
if we actually break that question down, how's the market? Well, it's relevant to what's relevant.
Yes.
So if
like,
Clinton
what's the
asked me
result?
that and he was renting,
yes,
and you asked me that and you're selling,
yes.
and then Luke asked me that and he's buying, there's 3 different relevance to that. So why don't you ask it? Because somebody says to you, how's the market? So depends whether you're buying, selling or leasing.
Absolutely.
But not the default of an agent is, it's great. Well, I heard the clearance rate was 26% on the weekend. It's actually not that good. So the default, you should have a default.
Correct. Correct.
And it should go like this. So how's the market, Claudia? Well, it depends whether you're buying, selling or renting. What are you doing, Claudia? I'm buying. Well, it's the best time to buy in 20 years if you read the papers.
Yeah, interest rates are low.
Claudia,
vendors are
I'm
aligned
renting.
on
Okay, Clinton, what do you? It depends if you're buying, selling. What are you doing, Clinton? I'm renting. Well, there's a lot of rentals empty at the moment, so it might be a good time to rent, etc.
Yes.
I'm selling. Well, if you're selling, you're buying in the same market. Well, it's all relevant. You know, what are you doing with your money? Well, if you're just selling for the fun of it, I'd sell in 12 months' time.
Yes.
You know, if you're selling to use the money to just see, people don't have a default.
No.
And it's not good because if you're in the market and you're an expert and you can't, and someone asks you how's the market and you waffle, or you go it's great, or it's shit, or whatever it is you want to say, you should have there's not a one answer. It's not a
no, that's right.
It's not a one track. It's not a one trick pony answer.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And I think, like you're saying, going back to default, the agents who are knowing what to say and how to say it and how to answer it, what people are buying is the confidence.
Yeah,
that's all they're like. When you waffle, people are like going, okay, this guy.
Imagine if you went to a doctor and they said, look, we've got to do this operation. Yeah. And they said, let
me just check Wikipedia. Or like whatever that doctor one is. I had that happen once.
What about you went to the doctor and said, what's this operation like? And they said, oh, it's great. You know, like it depends. What they're going to analyze. They're going to have an answer for that question.
Correct.
We don't have an answer in this industry for that question.
Yes.
And everybody asks. It doesn't matter where you are. I was sitting on a plane the other day, and the hostie came next and sat down because the seat was empty. And we were chatting away and chit chatting. She saw I was in real estate. Oh no.
Was she hitting you up, Matt LaHood?
Wasn't that lucky?
Connie does it.
No. Anyway, chatting away, and she said, "Oh, in real estate," and she said, "How's the market?"
Yep.
And I said, depends whether you're buying, selling, or renting. Sort of.
Good on you.
And she said to me, actually, my husband and I have just moved to the Northern Beaches.
Oh, wow.
Right? And,
nice part of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Claudia said, do you know Claudia? I haven't seen it. And she said, look, we're actually renting at the moment, but we're thinking of buying. So that took me down a path, where...
Absolutely.
Well, it's a great time for her now, isn't it?
Yeah. Because automatically we think, how's the market? We think they want to be selling.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, she's
actually looking at buying.
Yeah, but she said that they haven't been able to buy for the last 3 years because it's been so bullish.
Yes.
And she said now what's happened to her, the rents have come down and the prices have come down. So she said she's in a really good position.
Yes.
See, we don't know who we're talking to, right? So this is the problem. There's somebody who's hot about the market at the moment.
Yep.
She said, every spare minute I've got, I'm going to be looking at buying a property now. So there's an A-grade buyer, right?
100%.
Wants to get off the rental wheel, can get into the buying market, couldn't have bought 3 years ago, been stinging to buy, doesn't want to rent, but also said, I'm cool because the rents are coming down too. If these people I'm renting, I'll just go and rent for another 6 months, pay less rent.
Yes.
So depends who you're talking to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all the level of questioning that you ask.
Exactly.
It's fact finding.
Interesting. Okay, well, look, gentlemen, I think that's going to wrap up episode 34.
34.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton. Guys, thank you for joining us here on The Mentors. Matty LaHood again, thank you.
Pleasure.
All right, thank you, guys. Watch out for the next episode. It's going to be episode 35, going to be dropping very, very shortly, so look out for it on all our social media platforms. Talk to you soon.
Got something great from this episode? It would mean the world to us if you passed it on. Tune in each week as we mentor a new agent. Have a question? Want to be on the show? Get in touch with Claudio Encina, Matt LaHood, or visit our Facebook page. The Mentors is brought to you by Sprinkler.media.